Okay, I'm gonna try to make it through this video without crying, but I cannot promise you anything because I'm an emotional person already, and then on top of it, I'm talking about something that is really heartbreaking at times, but really exciting at other times. So it's kind of a whoop. So we'll see how we do. So, hello, my name's Stephanie. Welcome to Martinmade. Today I am going to tell you a little bit about my son Silas. My son was born Friday, May the 13th, 2016. He was born at 8 o'clock in the evening and he was 7 pounds 6 ounces. He was born 11 days early and he was a cutie. We struggled for 4 years to have kids, and when we finally got pregnant with him, it was such an exciting time. Almost. We had miscarried a baby before my son. When we miscarried our child before, it was about 10 weeks into that pregnancy. So when we got pregnant with my son, we were nervous. For the first 10 weeks, we were so scared because we were afraid that it was going to happen again, and we did not want it to happen again. So the first trimester was like pins and needles all the time. Every little twitch, every little thing I was getting scared of. I would get nervous. I can't tell you how much I was praying throughout this whole pregnancy. The first trimester was a huge deal, but then throughout the rest of the pregnancy, it even got harder. Once we got to 12 weeks, I started to breathe again. I started to feel like I could breathe and I had everything was good. At our 20-week scan, we had it. They told us it was a boy, and we were so thrilled. I got a call back from my doctor a couple days later saying that my 20-week scan came back and there were some problems. They told me that the baby had a cyst on his brain. Now, at this age, it's not uncommon to see, he said, but if it doesn't go away by about 25 weeks is what he said, it normally is gone by then. He said if it's not gone by 25 weeks, he said, then there could be some serious problems. He said that there are 3 different things that it could be, and all 3 of them are not good. So he said, what I need you to do, we're gonna, at 24 weeks, we're 24, 25 weeks, we're gonna schedule you for an ultrasound. Now this is an ultrasound that is much better than the one that I had for my 20-week scan. This one will show in much more detail all kinds of things, and they said that he's gonna send me to a specialist to have this done. So 4 weeks, he told me, I don't want you to Google anything. I don't want you to look it up. The reason being is I want you to just be calm about it, because he said if the cyst goes away, there's no point in worrying about it. Let's worry about it after we find out if it's still there. So I promised him I would not Google it, but I would just stay off of any kind of website that talked about it, just so I didn't get too worked up about it. So we went for my 20-week scan and they found another problem. So the first problem, of course, was the cyst, and they wanted to look into that. But Silas decided that he was not going to let them see. We spent, I think I was on the bed for 3 to 4 hours getting a scan done. And sure enough, they could not find whether the cyst was there or whether it wasn't. So they looked for that. The second problem that they had found was that he had a cleft toe. They said that his toe was not growing in the direction that it should be. So they said that that might become an issue. So they looked for that, and the person that was doing the scan, he said that he saw what they were talking about with the cleft toe, but when the technician in the back room that was looking at the computer as he was scanning, she said she did not actually notice a cleft toe. She could see him put it back together. So he was taking his toes and making a V out of them. instead of like, he can even do that to this day. He can take his toes and he can spread them like that. The third problem was my placenta was fine and it had the blood flow. The only thing was the umbilical cord came out the side, and it's supposed to come out the center of the placenta. So they told me that is a very big problem. Your baby can end up dying because it's not getting its nourishment that it needs. So they said that I needed to come in every 4 weeks and have an ultrasound done, not with them, but I could have it at another clinic. But every 4 weeks they needed to make sure that the baby was growing, everything was fine. I met with the specialist after the scan was all done, and he began to talk to us about the cyst on the brain. The doctor said most likely this baby would be born with one of these 3 things, and that none of them were good. And so we talked about each one and what the likelihood was. It varied from the baby dying right after birth to the baby actually growing, but the baby would not be, it would have physical problems and mental problems. There were a lot of things like that would have been going on. And so as the doctor began to talk about all this, we asked him, we said, okay, is there anything that we can do on our part before that we can change the outcome of this? And we asked him, because if there's something we can do about it, then we're going to try for it. If not, then that's fine. And so the doctor said, honestly, really the best thing for taking care of it would be to abort the baby. He told us that if we aborted him, we wouldn't have to deal with the problems that would come along with it. And you wouldn't have to deal with the heartbreak of losing your child right after birth if that's what's wrong with him. Those kinds of things would be, he said, would be that would be the only way around it. And we looked at him and he told him, no, we believe that life begins at conception, and each life is a gift from God, and that no matter what this child is born with, whether he dies just after birth or whether this baby is born and he has trouble with things, whether he's got something physically wrong with him or mentally wrong with him, it didn't matter to us. We love him. And so every 4 weeks I went for an ultrasound to check out the placenta, and every 4 weeks they would check it and he was growing just like he needed to. Friday the 13th of 2016 came, and at 8 p.m. Silas Amos Martin was born. He was born and there was nothing wrong with him. And every day after he was born, I looked at him and I thought, those doctors wanted to abort you, and yet you are a perfect little baby. Like you cry like you're supposed to. He didn't have anything wrong with his body. God has a special purpose for everything he does, and he loves each and every person that comes into this earth. He loves them. And so that is my son's birth and my pregnancy. It was very rocky and it was very difficult, and I felt like I didn't enjoy the pregnancy as much just because of all the hard things that were going on. But all in all, I have a beautiful little boy. His name is Silas, and he just had a 2-year birthday this week, and I wanted to share some of the pictures I took of him the other day and just wanted to wish him a very happy birthday. I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope you enjoyed. Bye.